Good morning, everybody. I am glad to see you today. This is a week where I'm giving some hot tips and tricks every single day for things that trip us up. As we look at almost the end of January 2021, holy cow, how did that happen? And moving into February, let's not leave behind those things we're trying to do this year. And so these 5 days are part of that. Yesterday, we did some work. Today, we're going to be talking about manifesting. I am Suzanne, creator and founder of The Sparkle Factor, and I'm glad to spend about 5 or 10 minutes with you right now. Drop a comment. Let me know you're here, replay, live, however you are. I'd love to know who is with me, and thank you for giving me just a few minutes. I was listening to some Journey. I love the band Journey and their big hit, Don't Stop Believing. And part of the belief there, the don't stop believing there, is a word that I use often that can be confusing for people, and that's manifesting. I don't know that we've done a good job understanding what it is or what it isn't and how to do it or not do it. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. But manifesting is literally creating with intention what you want. So the thought is that everyone has the ability to manifest anything that they desire. So whether it be wealth or optimum health or love, houses, cars, peace of mind, whatever, it's just that we're not taught this growing up. That's kind of the principles that undergird the thought of manifesting. We're taught, or at least I was taught, that we have to work hard, right? To get richer, you have to keep getting a job to get more money. And that's the way it works. And the poor get poorer. And it's just honestly not a great way to live in the world. So in the comments right now, let me know, do you put things out to the cosmos or the universe or God? That's manifesting, whatever it is that you call that. Or are you confused by manifesting? Not really sure what it is. It's a little woo-woo for you. Kind of let me know, yes, no, in the comments, and let's see kind of where we are with this. So quickly today, what I thought I'd share are some do's and don'ts of this practice. And it is for personal life, but it's also for business life. And so I want to share what I think manifesting is. I said earlier that manifesting is intentionally creating what you want, right? But what I've come to believe is that manifesting is cultivating the experience of what it is that you want to feel, and then living and believing in that experience so that you can allow it to come into form in its best way possible. Let me say that again. I believe that manifesting is, curating, cultivating the experience of what it is that you want to feel in business, in life, whatever, and then living into that, and then that don't stop believing in that experience so that it will start to come in and pervade and permeate all of your being. That's what I think manifesting is. So you're new to intentional manifesting. Okay, yeah, totally get it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that. I totally understand that. Yeah, and I think sometimes we feel like it's kind of weird, right? So sometimes we leave the manifestation space to healers, to kind of Eastern arts kind of things. And I think we've done that because sometimes we manifest things far beyond our wildest dreams. And so we just kind of feel like, I'm not really sure it's going to work. So we don't put enough intentionality behind it. And when we don't put intention behind it, it's just not going to come to pass. So when it's when you are in this process of manifesting, it's important to stay open to the possibilities that are beyond what you think you need. That for me is the key to manifestation. Possibilities that are beyond what I think that I need. So basically what that means is when you align with the loving energy of the greater beyond you, some say God, some say the law of the universe, whatever that is, there are no limits to what you can attract because you show up differently. Okay, and I think that's a key difference that I teach versus what other people teach. So basically at its core, manifesting is the process of vibrating at a high frequency with your energy, with your thoughts, with your heart, so that you become a match with what is going on, so that you can kind of create and co-create this different way of being in the world. In other words, what you are saying out in the world, what you're feeding into your body up here and here, and then how you are living that out with this, like your actual actions, like doing with your feet and your hands to help bring that toward you. And once you do that, then you can start creating that world. So one thing that I think is important to remember is when you start this, or if you start to add a practice, and we'll talk about how to do that in just a second, you can't expect exactly what you want to just drop in your lap. I think that's where people get off the mark a little bit. I think this is one of the biggest misconceptions in manifestation. There's this idea that all you have to do is make a vision board, right? Or write 1,000 affirmations in your journal, then the exact thing that you desire is going to come towards you. But actually what it is, it's the process, right? The intentional small habits and acts that we do of becoming a changed soul that actually helps those things come to pass. So it's a really powerful reminder for your personal and your business life that no matter where you are in business, no matter where you are in your life, intentional action is what can sink you or rise you. We get very attached to specific outcomes or want things to happen like in a particular timeline. But when we do this, what we're doing is actually cutting off a lot of other options and people that are doing things alongside us that we miss because we're just like this, right? So what do you do different? Well, I think one of the things is a big thing of trust. So trust that there is a plan that's better than yours, right? That's really hard. It's really hard for control freaks, of which I tend to be one. So it's not about having complete control or satisfying this kind of short-term desire we have. When you really live into kind of understanding how this works in the world, it's not even about getting what we think that we want. It's about receiving what is of the highest good for all, you and others. It's a really hard thing to remember, especially when you're trying to run a business, right? Because it's about the bottom line. It's about serving people. When you're a mom, it's hard, to think about that. I get it. You will have experiences in which you're likely to attract what you want, but when you try to control the outcomes to get just what you want, that's not the goal. So remember, your plan isn't always the best plan. It's about the control factor of the plan. So for example, if all your meditations and affirmations are around, let's say, landing a promotion at work, you might completely block away of a better opportunity at a different company because you're so focused on that. So instead, you just surrender. I surrender to what is out there for me. What are the things I need to do to make those things come to pass, and then trust the process and how it's going to change you. The other thing that I would say is don't try to make it happen, right? Trying to control and force things to happen is really a habit for us. It's an ingrained habit that really we teach. In capitalist society, it's kind of that way. We proudly wear it on our t-shirts, right? I've been known to use it in my rah-rah moment. It's like, let's make it happen. But this can get squishy and really fast. You know the rabbit hole of becoming a control freak, right? Who else is in that space? And some examples are like researching everything to death and then asking everyone you know an opinion, or because you can't make a choice, or massive avoidance because the people, the action, the time isn't right. These are sneaky ways that your ego needs control. So instead, what you want to try to do is work towards the notion of, I'm bringing this into my space. So I call that collaboration. What's already happening? What are people around me already doing? What is already there for me to access? I'm going to collaborate with what the world is doing and what's around me. And that's really hard when you're unsure of when or how things are going to happen. I get it. That's why a lot of people don't do it. It's hard. But I try to make sure that I'm aligning myself to joy. So embodying joy for everyone in my path as best I can. You see, that's a different focus that brings different energy. If you want more info about this, let me know. I teach a whole creating happiness 6-week thing. But here's how to clear up the energy behind your desire is to ask yourself this one important question. Does this desire, whatever it is, make me feel inspired and serve others? That's a really key thing to kind of get out of that controlling space. Then the other tip that I would give you real quick is to not save this practice for a special time or a place. So I crack up because people think of manifesting this whole process as something they do only while they're in their Zen den, right? Or I have a special meditation pillow, or I've got all the crystals, I have all the candles, I'm diffusing all the oils. They might say, oh, I've got to have all that alone space and all my journals, or I have to wait until I go on such and such retreat to do my manifestation work, whatever else gets them aligned, feel good, connect to the spirit, other, whatever. And then they get up and they go about their day and they leave that practice behind. But I think that's super unhelpful, because then what you're doing is compartmentalizing your practice. And I think what you do in that space is that you cut off the flow of inspiration and creativity and possibility thinking. So it's not something that we feel only in a retreat or at a religious service or a yoga class, whatever. We do ourselves a great disservice when we put it in a box and then keep it separate from the rest of our life. Really, what you should be doing is making it part of your daily life. Do it continuously, always manifesting, always attracting. It's just that usually we do it unconsciously. So my recommendation is to commit to something like stillness every day at a certain time, and then add something else at the beginning of the day and add something at the end of the day. Make it a part of how you move through life. If you're in this space of really hard questions, pull back and go, I'm just going to take a moment to breathe. That is what manifestation is. It doesn't have to be this kind of woo-woo, don't understand who I'm praying or aligning myself to. It's being about the hard questions and giving space for them to flow over you, being still, and making sure that you're allowing other things to come to you. And I think a really important part of that is disconnecting from technology when you're doing this work. Okay. That's all I've got for you today. You can do this. I'm so glad that you tuned in. I'm Suzanne Castle, bringing the sparkle to life and business for leaders and folks committed to possibility thinking. I'll be back here at 10 a.m. tomorrow with some more tips and tricks. Have a super day. See you soon.